Let's take that story further now. Bring in the Water and Sanitation Minister Senzo Mchunu. A very good evening to you, Minister. Welcome to News at Prime. Your reaction first then to ActionSA's attempt to get access to these records or documents related to the Giyani water project?
Well, we don't have any problem with any person or party in South Africa going to Bahia. Is their right. They can do so. That is what they are busy with. That is what they are pursuing. But on the other hand, we are busy with efforts to get all the people of Giyani to get access to water. That is what we are busy with. So Action South Africa will be busy with Bahia and papers and preparing to go to court. We are busy with providing water to the people of Giyani. That's our reaction. And as a matter of fact, I may want to take this opportunity to say, when we make statements, whether directly ourselves as ministry or some of our senior officials, we would generally expect that those who are interested in the matter or in those matters, they would listen and listen carefully. It is clear to me that Sello didn't listen carefully when Deputy Director General Mache was explaining the other day to whom he has made reference. Giyani water scheme has 4 components. First component is a 49-kilometer pipeline, bulk pipeline, Nandoni to Nzami. Number 2, the second component is the waterworks, that is the water treatment plant, which belongs to Mopane as a municipality. It doesn't belong to DWS. The third component is another bulk line from the water treatment plant to the reservoirs among the community in the villages. The last component is reticulation, that is smaller pipes that will take water to households. And in all these components, we're at various stages of completion. Now, what is crucial here is that we made a statement to say, well, it is true that in the course of 2022, we were not able to deliver as we had sought to at the end of September. We explained to the people of Giyani what had happened. The delay caused in the main by concerns of 2 of Amakosi in the area along the pipeline. They see a pipe being laid from Nandoni to Giyani, but they are afraid that they will be passed or they will be bypassed. And therefore, they went to the site first. They stopped people who were working there, and they demanded that we go there to explain to them. And in fact, they were demanding water. So it took us a couple of weeks to do that, to explain, persuade, make undertakings that as the pipe gets laid to Nzami, there will be teas that will enable us in time to get water from the main pipe to their villages along the pipeline. Now, that was agreed on, and then we continued with the work. We explained that to people. That's number 1. But number 2, on the 5th, that is 5, we then said we would have completed that pipeline, that is component number 1, by the end of March. Now, we were not able to, but we were able to pump water from Nandoni to Nzami Dam on the 5th of April. In other words, we overshot by 5 days. And on the 6th of April, Sello went on TV to say he is going to take the matter to court because we have failed to comply or to keep up with our promise of the end of March. But anyone who is reasonable, if you say you will do something at the end of March and you are unable to for a reason or the other, but you do it before midnight of the 5th of April, wouldn't make that a matter. But he has a right.
Okay.
He can take us to court for meeting our obligation or our undertaking only on the 5th instead of the 30th.
Okay, let me ask you this, Minister. You spoke earlier.
It's not a problem.
You spoke earlier about various stages of completion. What does that actually mean? How many of the people of Giyani who were affected by the lack of water actually now have clean, reliable supply as a result of your efforts?
Now, there are a number of villages that are close to the water treatment plant, about 4 villages. One of them, they are getting a full supply of water, one of the villages. The other villages, they are getting getting supply of water only partially. Others are getting water, but it is shaded. But the whole of Giyani, they have various schemes. We explained this thing before. Various schemes installed by government in the form of this thing called boreholes. Mm-hmm. They are getting water from boreholes done by government to provide them with water in the interim. But there are other villages there's one village that is getting supply from the very water treatment plant that we are upgrading, but they are getting water because in that water treatment plant, we have not shut it down. Okay. We are upgrading in phases on the side, but on the other side, it is pumping about between 17 and 23 megaliters per day. That is where those villages close to the plant are getting their water. Clean, superb water.
How reliable is supply? Because you speak of at least 4, I think, villages where you said this is all up and running. And then you've got the boreholes as an interim measure elsewhere. I asked that question because in total, there are about 55 villages, correct, that are ultimately supposed to benefit from this.
No.
Do they all have water all the time?
All villages in Giyani, they are provided with boreholes, but boreholes by nature, they break down now and then. That's why we are keen and we are on our way. We have, as a matter of fact, appointed 34 construction companies. Mm-hmm. Construction companies that are busy reticulating as we speak. But they are at a stage where they are laying down pipes. We are at 64% in terms of the bulk line from the treatment plant to the reservoirs where reticulation will take place. Now, that means that we, in all components, we're at various stages of completion. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, there are those boreholes. But those boreholes, they break down from time to time.
And what happens when they do, Minister? Pardon me. In the event that a borehole is not functioning, does that mean there are people who then don't have another source of water, clean water? I mean, last year when we were there, we saw people who were doing the laundry at a river where animals were also going to drink, and people were also taking that water home still.
Municipalities, Mopane municipality, and their local municipalities will always be expected to at least truck water. In other words, send tankers to people. They may succeed in other instances, they may fail in other instances, therefore exposing communities to undesirable levels of quality of water to the extent that we will never contest people when they complain about drinking water together with animals. We'll never contest that where it is actually happening. But what we're focusing on our expectation first is that when a borehole has broken down for one reason or the other, or it can no longer meet the demand, they must supply or augment water with tankers. But where they still fail, they must apologize to people. They must be in communication. But in the meantime, we are articulating now 34 out of 37 companies that must be appointed. 34 have been appointed, and they are at various. There's one village where one construction company is already at 94% in terms of reticulation in the area. So we are busy doing work here, and this is the first 24 out of the 55. And once we've done with 24, we will then do the remainder. And we are at work. But what we have a problem with is when a person supposed to be a leader come to national television and then talk inaccuracies and half-truths just to make mileage, either for himself or for the party. And we know Sello, we don't have a problem with him sympathizing with people of Giyani, but to say they are not getting, the people of Giyani are not getting water is to exaggerate. It is not accurate. Two, to say that, well, when he says he wants to take us to court and so on, we are fine, because that is what Action South Africa is all about, gathering papers and writing and doing all sorts of things. We are not about that. We are about delivery of water. We acknowledge that the scheme is old. It should have delivered water long ago.
Minister Senzo Mchunu, thank you so much.
That, but
we're out of time. I hear you saying ActionSA is all about gathering documentation. May be fair, but they may not have had the opportunity to gather documentation if the government had fixed this and run the project according to its timelines. But for now, thank you very much for your time